here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a very quick and easy jewelry making video for you, but it may be showing you some techniques that you haven't used before. This also is an entry in the Pandahall Spring Beading Contest. So if you are a jewelry maker on YouTube and you want to try your hand at winning a cash prize and also getting a amount of money to spend at Pandahall, check out the links below. I'll put a link to that so you can also enter the contest, and it's for any jewelry maker on YouTube. Even I can enter, so I just wanted to let you know that. I know there's a lot of way more talented jewelry makers out there, and I encourage y'all to check it out because the quality of the stuff I've received from Pandahall has been second to none. So just sharing the love there, and it doesn't cost anything to enter. You don't have to buy your supplies from Pandahall. You just need to upload a video making some cool jewelry. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to round a brass blank like this, also how to attach a kind of a briolette style drilled charm, and also how to make a loop for turning your charm into a pendant that you can put on a necklace. And on my sample that I was just playing around with, I added a few more charms, but I really didn't like the way that looked when I wore it, so we're going to change it up for our tutorial here today. So the first thing we're going to need to do is go over to the anvil and do a little metal stamping. You're going to need your metal surface to hammer on, and I recommend you take your stamping blank and you tape it down to the block here with some masking tape or anything that will hold it. Scotch tape doesn't seem to work so well. Paper tape works much better. And I am going to use my stamping kit, and I'm going to pick out the letters M-O-M. I'm going to make this for my mom. So I just need an M and an O. And when you stamp on metal, you want to give it 2 really good whacks, but no more. So okay, I've got my M. I'm going to do my O. And I'm doing it at the bottom, kind of on the curve. And then we're going to do another M. If I flipped over the M, I could have wow. That would be cool too. Alright, so I've got Mom on there. And then what I want to do now is actually grab a marker and color in my, my impressions here. Alright, I'm just using a permanent marker. I'm just going to go right over. I'm using a brush tipped marker because I think I can get into those little creases a little bit better. Black would show up a little bit more strong, but I'm going to be using red beads on this, so I thought this might make it match a little bit better. And then you simply want to wipe away the excess with a tissue. Here we go. It says Mom. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're kind of going to pound the crap out of this thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just use the round part of my hammer, and you can find the stamps and the hammer and the brass blanks from Maker's Kit or any other jewelry supplier, but they make a kit that has everything in it, so I recommend that. And I'm just going to start by pounding this a bit. Okay, now you can see that the brass has actually started to dome a little bit just by doing that. And the reason I had that tape on there, I didn't take it off, is because I can hold on to the tape and keep my fingers out of the way. Now what we're going to do is use a dapping block, and that's one of these devices. They make them that are metal, and they're much more expensive and will like last a lot longer, but I find for what I need to use it for, these wooden dapping blocks are just fine. This is by Vintage, and it was $8, I think. It definitely not expensive. And maybe you can even think of something around the house that you can use as well. I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the way for you, but the process is very simple. You've got your punch, which is this kind of peg here, and if you had a metal set, the punch and the base would be in the die. It's called the punch and a die. They would be metal, but I just have this wooden set. And you just want to keep hammering onto the wooden peg until you have your disc as round as you want it. Now that's pretty well rounded. I can look, you can see the back there. It's definitely domed. And it's got that cool hammered texture to it. And this is actually the first time I've really done much of, well, I've done it a little bit before, not a lot. But if I want to make it even more round, I can go into one of these smaller punches. And I can, or smaller dies, I guess, one smaller holes, divots. And punch it some more. And you could even go in with the tip of your hammer. But that holds it a little bit better when you use the punch like it's supposed to. So now we have that shaped. We have our mom on there, and we're going to go over to my table, my main working table, and we're going to make our necklace. All right, what we're going to need for this project is some beaded chain. This is from Pandahall, as well as this little heart crystal from Pandahall as well. Our blank that we already prepared, a clasp, and 1-inch eye pin, and a little bit of golden wire. And I've cut off about a 4-inch piece here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is prepare our little charm so that we can hang it on our brass blank. And to do that, you're going to take your eye pin and make a bend about 1/8 of an inch under it. So I'm just grabbing that with my pliers, see that? And I'm just bending the wire down. And then I'm going to slide my heart right on here. See, so we have it like that. It's just on there. And then I'm going to trim the wire about 1/4 of an inch, or maybe just a hair more, from where it protrudes from the back of the heart. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the wire right on the tip of my pliers, and I'm going to roll it up, and that's going to secure it in there. There we go. And you can smush it if you need to. All right, so that's all ready to go on our brass blank. So now we need to make this so we can attach it to our beaded chain. So to do that, I want you to grab that 4 or 5 inch piece of wire in the middle, and I want you to just kind of wrap it up a bit so you have a little bit of a loop, okay? And then you're going to slide our brass on there, and then we're going to grab the wire again, and we are going to finish up the loop, okay? And we're going to finish up the top part too. So now we've got this circle over our brass blank. So it looks a little sloppy, but don't worry. Okay, then we're going to figure out how far we want to let it dangle down, and we're going to put another loop, okay? And I like to bend it one way, wrap it around, and then wrap the bottom part of the wire back. Okay, so now we've got 2 loops here. We've got a loop on the brass part, we've got a loop up in the air that's going to attach to our necklace. And so now we need to make it a little bit neater. And we need to wrap these wire ends around. Now the reason we're doing this instead of just a simple loop and clipping it is because it's going to make it much stronger and much neater. So I think the simplest way to do this is to take our excess wire up at the top and wrap around a few times, trying to keep the coils of your wire pretty close together. Okay, and then repeat on the bottom. And if your wire is long enough, and that's why it's kind of nice to have it on a little closer to 5 inches, is that you can wrap it around much easier. Alright, just continue wrapping the wire around until they meet in the center. There we go. Almost there. Now if you get to the end and you can't quite wrap it tight, just grab it with your pliers, and then you'll have a little bit more leverage to wrap it around there. I think I need to get one more loop around and then I can trim them. There we go. Now I am going to go grab my flush cutters because I don't think I can get quite close enough with my 3-in-1 tool to snip these up properly. There we go. And then if you have these little rough edges, you can either file down with a file or try to snip them as close as you can and then just kind of squash them down with your 3-in-1 tool. I think I can get a little closer with those. There we go. I think I can get this one a little bit closer too. And just squash down the ends. And then I like to run my finger over it and make sure it's not going to poke anybody. So there, we have a fairly neat little closure to that. And now we need to add our little heart charm, and this is very simple to do because all we have to do is open up the loop on the top of our eye pin there. Can you see that circle? You want to grab it with your plier and just give it a little twist to the side that opens it up. And then we're going to slide it right on here and close it up. Okay. And there we have our cute little charm. I just love that. All right, now we need to figure out how long we want our necklace to be. And I've got this bead board here, and that makes it pretty easy to figure that out. Let's do like a 21-inch length. I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too short. So I think that'll be pretty good. And I'm going to have a clasp, so it doesn't have to be, you can see how I measured it out there. You got the little measurements there. It doesn't have to be long enough to fit over your head. So to break the chain, rather than cutting it, because I don't want to have any waste, I'm just going to open up that end there. Okay, I should have opened it up on this side, because then I'd be all ready to add my clasp. But that's all right. This only takes a second. So what we're going to do is twist to open, just like we did on our eye pin. It's always a twist. You never open it up like a U, because then you weaken the metal. All right, we're going to slide on one end and twist to close. We're going to do the same thing over here with the other end. Why don't I zoom in a bit so you can see that a little better? We're going to twist to open. We're going to put on our loop. And the beads on this are not so big that they get in the way of this closing. We're going to grab that little loop and twist it back. I don't have my glasses on right now. I'm having a hard time seeing that. Alright, so now we've got our necklace chain. See what I mean? It still closes very, very easily. Alright, now we're going to attach this to the middle. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to find the end and I want to hold it. I want to pull it taut so I find out exactly where the middle is. And it's right here. So you'll notice that one loop is usually bigger and one is smaller on these chains. So I'm going to open up the bigger side, which is right here. Same way, twist. See, twist it, never pull it. And then our little pendant can go on just like that. And use your pliers again to twist it closed. And there we have it, a beautiful, easy to make little pendant for mom. Isn't that pretty? Now you could change this up and use a different type of bead, like maybe a teardrop or a rondelle or whatever you like, and change it up to use like birthstone jewels if you want. It's completely up to you, but it's a really fun technique that I hope you try. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, happy crafting.